now we're going to look at a couple of different Shirazes, or is that how am I pronouncing it?
Shiraz.
Shiraz.
No.
Shiraz.
So we call it Shiraz.
And what's the difference there? Is it a different way of pronouncing it? Is there a reason?
It's kind of same but different. So it's the same variety. Australia is particularly renowned for making Shiraz. I think that's kind of our hero grape variety.
You know, and it does very well here in the Adelaide Hills.
It does, but it makes a lighter style Shiraz, which is probably stylistically more similar to a Northern Rhone Syrah. So we're very deliberate to call it Syrah on the label and not Shiraz.
Same wine, different vintage. Can you tell us about the 2010 vintage versus the 2011?
So 2010 it's probably one of our most classic vintages. So great weather, great crops, even ripening, just amazing grapes. It's a year the wines have amazing balance. They have beautiful perfume. We had great ripeness, but the wines are still very delicate.
Right.
Yeah, so it's one of the best Adelaide Hills vintages we've had. So probably comparable to 2006.
And when it's great conditions, as a winemaker or in a vineyard, does it allow you to pick at the optimal balance between ripeness and flavour ripeness and tannin ripeness and things? Is that where it comes together?
Yeah, it makes it relatively easy in a year where you've got no extreme heat, no extreme weather like rain or wind or hail. Like it's just it. And I think from a winemaker point of view, like that, the picking decisions are much easier. We do pick largely on flavour. I do look at the sugar levels and acidity as well. But
so you're out there in the vineyard tasting the grapes to see what the flavour's like in terms of the tannin development, but the flavour itself, the flavour development, whether it's green or towards the...
Yeah, like you don't want too much greenness. If you pick too green and too thin, you're going to make a thin green wine.
Yeah. So the 2011, now how does that compare? So the 2010 was a fantastic year in terms of those growing conditions. How did we go with 2011?
2011 is much more challenging. So it was one of the coolest, wettest years on record since, I think the only other year like that in the grape growing history of the Adelaide Hills was 1992.
Wow.
I remember that year from when the dams on our property broke because it rained so much around Christmas. So this year was really cool, really wet, difficulty flowering, lots of disease problems. We had our challenges as well, and the yields were really low. So
less grapes per vine?
Far less.
Wow.
So this is stylistically, I would say, a much more European year. I do stand behind this wine. A lot of winemakers have been criticised for releasing wines that are not up to scratch, but it's really savoury, resiny. If you want spice in Shiraz, this has spice.
The 2011 shows spice. So when you say more European, because it's cooler in a lot of places in Europe, they often have that, like that year was cooler and it was a little bit less ripeness, so you get more of the spicy character.
Spicy, slightly green, the tannins are a bit edgy and sharper. And it's for me, a classic wine. If a wine's a bit richer and rounder, it's pretty easy to drink like that. Whereas something that has kind of sharper, more tannic, maybe a bit of greenness as well, lots of earthy flavours too, needs food with it.
Okay.
So it's a classic food wine.